Hello, everybody. This is our earliest version of the AI Across the Product Lifecycle podcast. My name is Michael Finicaro, and I'm joined by Laurent Couillard, founder and CEO of InUse, and Olivier Mathey, who's the founder and owner of SP3D. Two exciting French startups, so it's fun to have two French friends, because I'm also a French citizen. Maybe we start with you, Laurent. You can give you a little bio, how you and I met, which was a long time ago, and then a little on InUse.
Some time ago. Thanks, Michael, for this session. My name is Laurent. I'm the founder of InUse, as you said. I'm an engineer. I've started in a company that is well known in the PLM area. I spent 16 years in the ecosystem in various jobs, organizing the win of Airbus, and then transforming the channel from IBM to resell the channel all across Europe. And lastly, I finished by leading Exalead, which is all the NetVibes type of systems that exist in the ecosystem. 10 years ago, I decided to jump into the new world of IoT and AI, and I think that's what we're going to discuss now.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Laurent. And Olivier?
Great, thanks, Michael, and thanks for the invite. On my side, I'm married. I'm father of two, and I spent almost 20 years in a French group called Vallourec. So in the industrial world, mostly focused on the energy, where we supply pipes for the major engineering project across the world. And 4 years ago, while I was in charge of the digital transformation for Asia, I met SP3D, and I decided to switch from being an entrepreneur to become an entrepreneur to see what was the difference. And now I can tell the difference. I joined them as a head of sales, and since 1 year, I'm now the CEO of the company. And we'll discuss a bit later. And we did that shift when we decided to accelerate to the launch of our second product, Theia, which is full of AI.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's founder. So Olivier's not the founder, but he's the CEO of SP3D. I correct myself. So we wanted to talk today about AI, and of course, this is the subject on everybody's tongues, as we say in French. And I wanted to understand, like when GenAI first came out, 2022, and it was kind of a new thing. Did you guys immediately see the potential? Were you sort of skeptical? Because I think people had varying reactions when it first came out. Whoever wants to answer first, but I would like to get your opinion on that.
If I take the view there, when GenAI went on the market, at least when it was accessible by a company like us, of course we jump in right away. Why? When I started the company in 2015, we discussed a lot about IoT and AI on the data. What I call AI on the data is the AI that works from the Internet of Things, assembling a lot of data, making machine learnings, all these deep learning and all those. Adoption was quite long and working on that. GenAI makes a new paradigm there. It gives the access of a fabulous technology for people, for more people than ever. On that. And that changed the game. It changed the game for our developers, of course, when we develop code. And it changed the game for, in the sense where we are working with InUse on the field service approach for the people on the field in order to capitalize the knowledge there.
Fantastic. How about you, Olivier? Were you just as optimistic as Laurent?
When it started, we look at it with two sides. First, I think quite similar to what Laurent said is how can we use GenAI to accelerate or improve our internal processes? At the very beginning, we were a bit disappointed by the first results. And now we're using it much more. And definitely our development team is basically empowered. And we are a small company. We are 12 people. But our development team is basically 2 times or 3 times what it was a year ago. Because their ability to develop code, the ability for our engineers that are working with our AI experts, but that don't have the knowledge of coding, the ability for them now to code and accelerate the process is quite phenomenal. And on the other end, for our own proprietary AI that we develop, we look at it as a potential threat. So we keep an eye on the capabilities that are developed. Luckily, there is a big gap between what is available on the market and what we do. And so today, we believe we still have some barriers in terms of technological breakthrough that we went through, that this type of technology are performing. So we are using other type of technology of AI. There is, the big families, but the GenAI today is not a threat for us. It is a great tool for our own internal efficiency, and still something that we keep it in our watch.
Okay. Actually, it might be good because I'm not sure that the audience is familiar with the two companies, with InUse and SP3D. So maybe you could give us a very brief overview of what you guys do respectively too. You want to start, Olivier, with SP3D?
Olivier.
SP3D, our mission is simple but quite ambitious. We want to facilitate the adoption of digital process by the manufacturing. We started helping industry digitizing their inventory. So looking at the catalogs and identifying what could be digitized to be produced on demand, produced with 3D printing, this distributed manufacturing concept. And as we work with more customers, we face a major bottleneck that was that transforming a 2D drawing into a 3D model was something that was manual. And largely, even though it sounds like a technical detail, it's actually a huge pain point. And so 4 years ago, we started an R&D program, which ended last year, and we have now a second solutions on the market called Couillard, where we automatically reconstruct 3D model from a 2D drawing. So this is our two solutions. So we are really industrial DNA, and we bring the digital and try to simplify the adoption of digital tools.
Probably a lot more exact than companies like Zoo that's just going from text, right? Since you're starting from a 2D plan, which is relatively exact.
Yeah, which is in fact it is exact, but at the same time there is a lot of ambiguity on the 2D drawing. If the three of us have to do the 2D drawings of the same components, we will end up with 3 different 2D drawings with the same concept. So and this is the difficulty that we are raising thanks to AI. So deep neural network, graph network, to be able to basically compensate and being able to replace the human eye.
Excellent. I like that. How about you, Laurent? I think yours is more tied to the machine and the machines talking to each other, right?
Exactly. What if machine could talk? That's our motto there. What we're doing is basically we are trying to mitigate what I call the industrial amnesia. It's about a lot of people going on retirement in the next years, but we count about 7 million people going on retirement in the North America, Europe, and Japan, which are our 3 regions where we are operating. And if we look at those people leaving, there's no recruitment at the speed of replacing the people that are leaving. So if you do not capitalize the knowledge, if you have no replacement of the people, you will face an industrial amnesia, which will basically cost up to $500,000 per year per factory or something like that. I mean, it's a huge gap there. So what we're doing there is at InUse, we build a platform that helps to capitalize that knowledge on 2 fronts. Originally, we do it from IoT and AI on data. So basically, we interrogate the people from the technicians, and we say, how do you solve those problems? And by interviewing them, we transform what they said to us into algorithm, and we build that fakely inside the machine, so the machine can talk and can identify what will be the problem. And the second coming in since 2022 is now we are also increasing that with the generative AI, where we ask the people to capitalize on what they do by text, by interventions, and all what they are a little bit shame or they don't want to do it because they don't know why they would do that. And I think the GenAI is giving them the why. They do the why because now they can reuse that very easily everywhere in the world. So we do both sides to capitalize. And of course, the agentic side, which is the merge of the two. It means that you can ask the machine, how did you produce better this week than last week? And what are the reasons and what should be the action to do? And that's the merge of the IoT world and GenAI world into one.
So it's You really did the whole shift from machine learning to generative AI to that's really cool, to the agentic stuff. It's a good story.
Exactly. And agentic is the convergence of that. And as of today, we have more than 33,000 machines around the world that are on our platform, more than 5,000 users. So that makes quite a significant move on that, even though I consider it's still slow to get those adoption.
Do you have to tell them to get off of Snapchat sometimes? They're not like kids, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm imagining that, actually, both of you already talked about the fact that when you developed the product, your developers were using AI. I mean, I do this on every podcast, but it's, there's still a lot of mystery around, is AI really great for coding? Is vibe coding a thing? And yet Lovable, I think they just yesterday, I think they just said they made 100 million, and like whether they're in the, I think their fourth release hit 100 million within like 4 weeks or something, which means it may not be a thing, but it's something that's generating money, like real money, not just investment capital, right? So how does it work for your developers of InUse and for SP3D in terms of do you use it for the brainstorming? Do you use it for the actual scaffolding? Do you use it for creating the test bed? How are you using the AI in general? Or I suppose in Laurent's case, you have a lot of the regression analysis still, but it's done by AI rather than ML. And Olivier, you have a lot of inference of the geometry that would be created from the 2D. So it's interesting to know how you're using AI to achieve these amazing things in the software.
Yeah, and if I start to answer, we have, I would say, two usage that are pretty different. The first one is we have an AI expert team. We have 2 PhD in AI on different families of technology. We have 2 additional AI engineer, and these guys are building the core of TEA, so the 2D to 3D reconstruction. We don't aim to be the expert like ChatGPT can be, or Google can be, or Amazon could be in AI, because of course their capabilities and manpower is way beyond our reach. However, we have developed the ability to combine the right technology at the right processor. So we have a lot of algorithm that goes work one after the other, up to 30, to make these 2D to 3D reconstructions automated. And the challenges have been to combine the AI technologies and technology with OS with the traditional computer vision. So this is really our first application, and this is, I would say, our own IP, our proprietary IP, and that requires dedicated skills, dedicated people. And to be honest, they are not allowed to use GenAI to develop their own code, because it's really it has to be our black box, is our IP. What's very interesting with the different tools that have been massively being simplified in the last couple of months is not only have these 4 guys, but the rest of the company is capable to support them. We have a team working on the first products, and they are almost self-autonomous in developing the solution today. We worked before on AI. We have machine learning on the database. We work with a lot of data. We have a lot of additional tools and simulation and process, which require the IT team, the development team, to step in. And now they're almost autonomous to develop the product. So we have basically a product that we are capable to develop with non-experts. And we have our experts, which have a red line in using external technology.
Very cool. Interesting. About you, Laurent?
Very interesting, Olivier. I'm encouraging AI regarding my team. I will make the differentiation between what we do internally and what we do for the customers or at the customer side. Internally, I'm encouraging the AI at every front, because I consider AI in the mode of GenAI, for the code, for test, for whatever here is speeding up the development. So it's a question of speed over there. And I like my team to use Cursor or other solution like that help them to do better. I think the main approach is not to develop the code by itself. It's to accelerate what they do. And I think it's in that way that it should be taken. It's an accelerator. It helps to do some tests. It helps to do some review over there. Anyway, we have not changed the review code processes that we were doing before. But what we can see since we put that in place is that we accelerate that. And as we've got a release every 2 weeks, so we've got sprints of 2 weeks, we really want to make sure that in those 2 weeks we increase the level of delivery and the level of quality during that. And for me, it's speed over there. GenAI is about speed and all that. We use that also in the marketing side. Okay, we should not forget that there's the development, but there's a commercial development to make also, and it has changed a lot in the marketing side. How we can generate content, how we can communicate, how we can define that, how we can do market surveys with all Le Chat for Mistral. We're using a lot Mistral on our side as being part of the French Fab. So being able to make some survey into Le Chat and analysis that that was again taking a lot of time before. So I think internally I'm really encouraging what we can do there in order to increase. Then on the product side, my philosophy is a little bit different. I tried to make very precise and useful AI. I'm not doing any toolbox approach there. I'm really doing applicative side in order that we target a persona, which is the field service guy. Okay, and we want to deliver to him the right AI for his job, and not making him the ability to build his own AI, but we want to deliver for him the AI. And I think it's a population that is likely to use AI, but not likely to design AI or design their own AI. And that's where InUse is fitting. Is we really want to make agentic AI that fits the world of field engineers, field technicians, that accelerate the repair of machines. So you talk about what if machine could talk. The effect is, again, speed is how much the machine can restart faster, how you shorten the stop of the machine, which is huge euro or dollar or whatever you count on that. And at the end, the impact on the top line of those companies is huge. And of course, with a level of adoption that GenAI is giving, which is higher than ever compared to all the machine learning and all those algorithms which were expert for expert. Here, I can tell you we've got examples where we've got people, operators next to the machine that are using that as a natural way to help them doing their business, and they like it.
I think in what you mentioned, Laurent, you mentioned speed. There is another aspect of time which is very complementary. What you said is and you mentioned it at the end, is the ability to focus on what matters. The operators should not develop AI. He doesn't have the skill, and it's not his job. So, but however, being capable to use these tools to give him the simplification and giving a tool that works for him, it is simple to use. I think this is what has been accelerated by the generative AI of the last few months. Because not everybody in the company is capable to use that tool by asking questions, doing the no code, doing the QC review of the code, the speed. And I think the way I encourage my team is that the time you save, just make sure you focus on the pain of the customer. Because at the end of the day, and we had that when we launched AI on the market. So, we had this 2D, 3D is automated, it's a great technology. And when we talk to the other customers, sometimes it works, sometimes it fails. Say, yeah, incredible, can you do it? Because I need it and I love your interface. I don't care if it's automated. Is it the same price? Yes. Okay, go for it. I don't care. Just make it. I need it in 2 hours. And these are tools. What matters is I have a problem. I'm on my city. I'm losing what you said. People were retiring. How do you manage the know-how? How do you capitalize? This is the key point. And then how could you simplify and at some time amplify your impact? This is what matters, and I think there are great tools for that.
And you're right, and I think in the context of what you said just before, and what it brings is also the level of quality, because you said that if we would have generated 3D from 2D altogether, or vice versa, 2D from 3D, we would have done different output on that. And I think one of the way to control also the quality together is the ability to organize that through AI, which not only speed up but also control the quality. We see that in our side when you've got technicians. He has done his daily job. He has repaired the machine. it took him about 8 hours on site with the stress and the pressure from the customer to restart faster the machine and so on. So the guy is stressed. And what the boss is asking is, now you need to take 2 hours to make a report. And the guy, what he doesn't like is he doesn't like to write. He doesn't like to make a report. He doesn't like to copy paste the pictures he has taken from his phone to the Word document to read, to write something in a language and so on. So what he has to do now is press a button. And he may not be Proust or whoever as a writer, okay, but at the end it will be the correct quality of the report generated in few seconds. And what he has to do is to review. We have to train people on what it is. It is still an assistant. It's not generated and then you can send that directly to the customer. You have to read it back. You have to correct it if needed. But at the end, it's the quality. And we see that everyone can write a report at the right level of quality expected by the company on the easiest way. And I guess for your case, 2D to 3D, it's the same way. You can control the quality of what's generated.
Yeah, I fully agree. We are working in an industrial environment. Safety first, then quality. And the quality of the product or the process is the safety of the people using it. So when you talk about AI, people are, it's a black box. We're not too sure what's going on. Sometimes it's statistics. You trust, you cannot trust. When Google make mistakes, we don't care. You receive the wrong advertising. Okay, fair enough. Somebody paid 5 cents extra. If you send the wrong equipment, you broke the machine, you can kill somebody. That's a different story. I think the challenges of companies developing tools or software for industrial application like we do, quality is a must. It's a right now. You don't deliver quality, you're out of the market. And I think this is one of the great challenges for all development team. And on our side, we do a lot of collaborative work where we have AI or algorithm, but also engineers and talking to each other to make sure that the quality is there. Then we talk about the lead time. And of course, at the end of the day, we talk about cost.
Yeah, I think that, in fact, when we talk about Copilot, we should always be talking the plural. There should always be a whole committee of them to make sure. And and I always thought I had this idea of having a Maimonides agent who's always doubting everything. No, you're not the most beautiful guy. No, your ideas aren't all great. In fact, I really don't agree with this one. Rather than just telling you how great you are. There's actually a question in the chat from a guy that listens to a lot of these podcasts, Steve Klein. And it was a question for Laurent. It says, is InUse supporting servitization, which is one of the most important values to create network effects, as described by Ben Alstein? I never read that. Connecting intelligent equipment to not only the customer, but also customer to customer, supplier, and others, which is described in another book he talks about. This plays an important role. John Deere was one of the first companies to realize this.
Yeah, that's the aim at the end of InUse is a servitization. I like to talk about servitization and the derivative. It's how we make the commerce and the interaction of the know-how. I mean, if you've got know-how along all the supply chain, you can change the business and you can change the model everywhere. And definitely that's the all the servitization wave on that we see and we talk since a while is how on top of a product, if you are a machine maker, how on top of a product you can build services and change your business model. We see that for the common way for cars and for all the leads and that we can have whatnot in the industry, which has an effect is because we lack of expertise everywhere. If you bring machines plus the expertise to be run at the factory, then you have a kind of a full package there of servitization. Same way, machine to machine, and when you want to build a line and so on. So we work with people who really develop their own application in order to work and sell additional environment. We've got that in recycling. We've got that in the poultry industry. We've got that in the food and beverage. We've got that in the packaging. There's really that wave of using that knowledge now that you can capitalize through AI on the data algorithm optimizers or through the GenAI. This is really becoming a product itself, and then delivered as a service, and that's where servitization is growing up. And I think this is a mainstream approach. It takes long in the industry because it has an impact on the economical environment. Okay, moving from capex to opex for factories and moving on that. But I'm pretty sure that because of the lack of expertise and what I said, the silver tsunami, the people going to retirement, there will be the need to commerce on that, and servitization will grow up.
Interesting. I was curious too, because we're talking about how AI is being used in your development process. Are you guys developing your own models, like your own LLM, or as Leo AI's founder Maurer talked about an LMM? He created a large mechanical model, which I find fascinating. Or are you guys using Mistral, in your case, Laurent, and I'm not sure which one you're favor of, Olivier, and then just using RAG in order to augment the for a question or something like that? Maybe Olivier, what do you?
Yeah, so on our side, so we have two solutions, two products. Couillard, so the automated 2D to 3D, is we are developing our own AI. We are
Great.
using the latest research paper on computer vision, on several families of technology. So neural network, graph network, some specialized language model. We know the LLM that are Mistral and others, but there is a similar specialized one, and so we are developing this one. And so this is really our IP, and this is what makes us efficient. This being said, customers don't care how it's done; they want the service, and we are facing the same pain points for our customers. Facing the same pain point that Laurent mentioned. We have a big chunk of the engineer that's going to retire, and we have a partner in Japan that telling us the young kids coming out of university don't know how to read the 2D, so they can't reconstruct it. So it's not a question of cost. It's not a question of spin. It's a question of I need to train a guy during 2 years before he can take over the engineer that's going to retire. And this is a huge, and this is mentioning it's coming in Europe, it's coming in North America. It's just a matter of time. So this is a huge challenge. And then, yeah, we use a lot the external, and I forgot to mention the marketing and sales. And I think it's a great point by Laurent also. We have really, I would say, increased the impact of our sales team, which include myself a little bit. And I'm very happy not to spend 100% of my time doing lead generation, because I'm the CEO. I have a couple of other stuff to do. But yeah, we are using it a lot. So I would say everything that is process oriented, we use them to see how we could simplify, save time, and develop new tools that at the end of the day will be in our solutions. And everything that is a core, which is when we develop our AI, that's where we develop our IP. So I hope it answered your question. So really two levels.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was expecting, because I think there's also like the. Well, anyway, I'll let Laurent answer first.
I think
we spent 4 years of R&D developing our own model. So this is really a value on which we invested, and we invested several millions, which for a company like us is a huge. And then it's a matter of efficiency. And I think I agree with what Laurent said. Where you can save time, just do it. I think you have to be pragmatic, remain pragmatic as a leader.
I differentiate again to AI. I differentiate the AI that we do for all what are the technologies on machine learning and all that, which is based on the data on the IoT side. And on those ones, we've got our internal models like prediction on vibration to predict for rotating machines if you've got a problem of alignment or misalignment and so on. So this is algorithm that we do on our side, because we train them and then we are able to develop and deploy that to our customers.
That's more of an ML. That's more of an ML.
Yeah, ML. ML, we've got some proprietary model, and then we also enable our customers to develop their own. So that's the value of our platform there. Regarding GenAI, of course, we're not rebuilding our LLM. Definitely not. I mean, we are not the size that, but we really fine tune that to what is the field service approach there. And the problem of the industry with the LLM is that the vocabulary, all the typology of industry is not really present in LLM. It's not really well organize, and specifically in a given value, which is the translation. If you've got documents on English and you want to have them in German, I mean, the words are not exactly industry related. So of course, what we do is we fine tune that. So we have some glossary that we put as an industrial glossary that we enrich so that really the system can speak the world of the customer.
Okay.
And also we use another system, which, I mean, we have a constraint in the industry, is that if we suggest an action to an operator next to the machine, we should not be wrong. I mean, we cannot hallucinate on that.
Exactly.
We cannot give any answer coming from the web. So we are very restricting the content, of course, because we protect the IP of our customers, but also the answer is strictly the one that exists in the corpus. If not, the system will say that it doesn't know and it cannot help, and you need to call an expert. It may happen. I mean, the system is not getting 100% of the solution over there. So regarding AI, I would say ML type, yes, we've got some algorithm and we deploy that. Regarding GenAI, we do not develop our LLM. We fine-tune that to the industry. We put glossaries, and we put the temperature at 0 so that there's no hallucination in the corpus.
Very cool. And so when customers are using SP3D and InUse, I suppose that there's several touch points where they have AI. There might be a chatbot for the field service guy, or maybe the designer to make sure that the design intent of the 2D is translated to 3D. But probably there's also some underpinning technology as well of AI, a graph knowledge base or whatever. So how is it? What is the interface? Where's the AI being used in your respective products?
Just as a fun stuff, Michael, I want to introduce there. What we did is we put AI at the beginning in the reformulation of cases, intervention cases and so on. When the guy is taking the report of its work, and of course he's using a mobile phone now on InUse, and then he's dictating or writing or typing, but they are not very good in the way they type and making a lot of mistakes and so on. So they can reformulate. It's a little bit of a very simple, accessible AI, but at the end, what does it make? It makes the technician not afraid of writing something. And the most important thing right now is to capitalize what they know, and is to incent them to really write something into the system, because they have the knowledge in their head. So they came for a problem, they solved the problem. If you help them to put that into the system, and then our AI is used to take the content, not any work from the technician anymore. Take the content and send that to the general AI for everyone to ask, like a chatbot, ask a question. Anyone, anywhere can find again the solution. So that loop on that has been engineered to facilitate the life of the technician and the retrieval behind that. And I think it's quite interesting to see the impact of the reformulation, where people were shy to write because of that, and not finding any reason for doing it. And now they find reason to do that because it's easy for them, and they can get all the knowledge of their friends easily on their fingertip.
Cool, very cool. And how about you, Olivier?
We try them to have the most simple interface as possible. So the answers is different depending on the two products. On Couillard, they don't interact with AI. We have a very simple interface. You drag and drop. You grab a coffee. When you come back, you have your 3D model, and then you have a chat box to share some have a discrepancy or have a missing dimension, etc. But we try to simplify that with checklist, checkbox, so that they don't have access to the complexity. So we do as much as possible simplifying the interface, so that all the complexity is not a burden for them. On our first solution, which is really impacting the supply chain of major companies, we're talking about companies that have few $100 million of parts on stock. In this case, it is having a human interaction to help them challenging, clarifying what is their pain point, what is their difficulties, Probably one day we could simplify that by implementing what Laurent said. But we are at a moment where people need to have a few hours of meeting to express properly what is their pain point. And then we take that and we put that in the algorithm to basically check the database and extract information. So we use it to transform the data into information to answer the question. At the moment, we still use a human interaction because we are on very complex pain points, and people are more comfortable to discuss. And we even travel to see them. We have been to Africa, we've been to Middle East, which is not expected from a software company. One of the first customers in Oman, we went there and we had this opening meeting and say, we did not believe you will come. We till you came yesterday, we were not believing you would do it. So thanks for doing what you said.
And Miguel, may I add something on that approach? I think one of the criteria also that we need to take into account is the legacy. It's not because we've got a new technology that everything starts from zero right now. I mean, you mentioned 2022. This is not the birth of something. I mean, there was a huge industrial world before. So what we have done also is we have engineered a system that we can connect to every legacy system. Specifically, we are not asking our customers to reformat their documentation or their past ticket intervention and so on, which is a huge work also. So it means that at different level of the chain, we use the AI because we take the AI, we OCR, we put character recognition, then we put the transformation, we do special chunking with some algorithm that we have invented. I think one of the issue that we have, and I guess, Olivier, that's the same for you. I mean, you're not asking the new 2D to be generated. You take the legacy. And we are working in a world where it's not a brand new world. I mean, a total white space. We have to take the brown thing, and we have engineered the system so that easily we can recover from what they have made at the past and get the benefit right now. So at the end, if you take that, the return of investment on the solution is very fast because you take all that and after a few days, you have the system that has been adjusted to your own knowledge available for everyone. And that's where the benefit comes from.
So it's about mitigating the risk of technical debt, basically. You're making sure the technical debt doesn't become an albatross holding you back from progress, basically.
Exactly.
Very
I mean, cool. You have to take it into account. Everything that we do, you can't say that everything will start from scratch right now. I mean, you have to take the past and we see on our customers documents of many kinds of different way of building them and so on. And it's a huge set of documentation in the industry that, by the way, was not used before. just a mandatory, that's just an obligation. But
if you may, Michael, just to rebound on what Laurent just said, it really depends on the complexity of the problem, of the pain. When we do the 2D to 3D, the pain is very simple. I have a 2D drawing, I need a 3D model. And it's basically for us, like you work with Excel and your customers and you work. Because when you do the 2D to 3D, you bring no value. You just transform the format so that you can work. In this case, the complexity is the building the answers, but the pain point is simple. So in this case, people don't want to talk to somebody. They want to do drag and drop. I do my stuff, and when it's ready, I have it and I do it, and it has to be simple. And what Laurent mentioned, which is quite similar to our first product, the pain point is complex because there is massive data, and then there's how do I make the data speak? How do I make this data, the legacy one, the collaborative information, the collaborative intelligence, bring me something? And then there is an interaction. And then this interaction being with algorithm, being with interface, being with people. And in this case, the complexity is in the description of the pain point. What you said, Laurent, using AI to clarify the problem, I think is super smart.
Makes me wonder too, and this wasn't one of the planned questions, but I feel like it's an interesting one. Of course, you guys have a competition. Well, maybe less SP3D because it is sort of a niche solution. Certainly, InUse, you're probably up against Service Max or Servigistics, right? PTC is pretty strong. How do you guys? And yet, those companies are slower to adopt AI than you. I mean, PTC's made a bit of progress. Dassault is pretty slow so far. They haven't. And I suppose for you, Olivier, it'd be more like Fusion, the CAD products that are supposed to be able to do this to some degree. So how does AI become a competitive advantage for InUse and SP3D against the incumbents, the big billion-dollar incumbents?
I think this is the magic also of AI. It has not been restricted to the big ones that have big capital funds to access the AI. So what makes us competitive is that we access the same Mistral environment and the same technology. Is up to invent what we do with it. And what I like here is that you don't need to have this size, what you mentioned, DS or PTC or whoever in that PLM space, Siemens, to have such kind of capital in human and in cash. Okay, both of that. So legitimately, we can really be competitive at the size of InUse in that field. And the only thing is, we need, I think, to be clear on the value prop that we are delivering, which is really targeted a given part of the space, which is the field service and the proactive field service. Service Max is part of that. I think we see more effect from Service Max or people coming from the service desk side, than the PLM side, which is for me a misunderstanding, because I think you talk about PLM and all that lifecycle. Lifecycle is not only virtual; it goes up to the machine in use, in usage. That's the reason of the name. Okay, machine in usage. Okay, and that's the prolongation.
Right? As
operated, and like Steve Klein said, servitization is the prolongation of the virtual product to the service over there. And I think this is this life there, and that's where the link there. But definitely, AI is accessible for company like us. We are able to run AI. We are able to have to protect what we put in the AI for our customers, to protect the IP over there, as if we were a big company. And I think that agility is our best level of competitiveness.
How about for you, Olivier?
This conclusion is the way I will differentiate myself in a few years when competition will come. Today, we've been the first one doing the breakthrough. This type of topic has been in R&D since 1972. And these big names, Dassault, PTC, AutoCAD, we know they've been working on it. It's probably not a priority for them, because today they do design for additive manufacturing, they do design optimization, and they are competing themselves with how best they can improve their customer experience. And they have invested massively on that. 2D to 3 is little value. So it's complex to solve, but brings little value to customer. At my level, is huge, because the market from my standpoint is huge. From their standpoint is a niche. So
Interesting.
We don't see them competing against us. We have been in talk. They know we exist now, because we have been, of course, communicating. We have people using our solution, so they start hearing. So we see them just having a look and see. We also look at the big LLM, because there is a lot of 2D to 3D from pictures. So we have a lot of the time the question, but people can do it from a picture. Yeah, from a picture, you don't need Pepper 3D. You use Sora, you use Google, everybody does that. But you won't get a 3D drawing that you can produce with. You get
a manufacturable one.
Exactly. So for the delivery, we can have to get a 3D model for quotation. In this case, we have this type of solution that could be a competitor. But for the I would say the 3D model for production, that today the technological the technical challenges have not been solved. It will be at some point. If tomorrow Dassault decide to put 50 million of R&D and 50 guys, I'm sure they will catch up. Will they decide to do it? Not sure, because they also have other priorities. So this is for us the space, and I'm working, and we are using the AI to amplify our impact so that we can grab as much market share as possible while they catch up.
Yeah, of course. So in like 1 minute or less, because I want to get to the real world piece of this conversation. Over the time you've worked on the latest release, we talked about how you thought about AI when you started working, and now we're in 2025, or almost the end of 2025, agentic, MCP, and all the crazy stuff around sovereignty that's come up, right? Because we've also had this with Anthropic saying, "Oh, actually, we lied. We're going to steal all your prompts, even if we said we weren't." Where are you sitting on AI today? Are you still very bullish about it? Or are you more reserved? Or are you more tactical, perhaps? I mean, how has your position changed from 22, 23 when you started?
If I answer, I think for me the maturity is, why are you using AI for? What is the problem you want to solve? I think that's the answer, at least for us, and we have a clear answer both on the internal use, which is basically make sure we spend time with customer and simplify everything else, from marketing, lead generation, and of course the process, the workflows we can develop for our tools, and the deep tech that we are developing ourselves. We are not in the same competition as Google, Amazon, all the GAFAM and Chinese equivalent, because we forget, being in Asia, we see them a bit more, where there is a possibility of the winner takes all. If you have the data, then you have. So this valuation is also the race on, you're not sure who will win the race, and you bet a bit on everyone. We are not in that type of game. I don't think the winner takes all is what industry is looking like. We, as industrial people, like to have a bit of competition so you can challenge. So I think the game is more, how efficiently can you solve the problem of your industrial customer? And I think as soon as we focus on that, we'll be successful.
So your opinion of AI has become more tactical, more or less, right? Pragmatic and practical and tactical.
I think the strategy of want to use it or not is done. It's you have to do it. The question is which AI for what purpose? I think that's the
Laurent, do you agree?
I think I would say it's not yet the time for being tactical. Sorry, Olivier, to say that. I think there's still an horizon for a huge transformation to come, and we are not yet at that level. I think it's, for me, it's a very strong revolution that is going to evolve fast, finding new way of applicative approach, delivering new values there. Agentic is definitely one, when you can chain AI solution and I mean you can do tremendous stuff like just think that when we have the IoT data on one side and the GenAI on the other side, you just remove the dashboards. I mean, we are spending hours, dollars, millions of dollars on dashboard business intelligence that we know since long. I mean, just ask the question to the system and it will generate for you the dashboard that you need.
Exactly.
I mean, it will create a system for you on that. That's just a next revolution coming. And it's I'm not talking about 10 years. I mean, it's coming. It's coming 2026 at InUse, it will be there. Okay.
Well, you guys
you can, yeah, because that's the next phase. So, and what do you transform there? You transform all the shift team when you transfer the shift from time to time. You have a new way to approach what did happen in the last 8 hours and the next 8 hours and so on. So you can change the life there. So I don't think we have yet estimated there. The impact is quite huge. We still need to be, I would say, bullish on that. We need to push on the AI, but not our job is not on the technology standpoint, is on the applicative side. We need to find real value added applicative solution that helps people. And if we do that, we will transform every domain of the world, and not only the industry, but I mean, lawyers, doctors, and many professions are impacted there. So I'm very, very positive, but
I agree with Laurent, the entire potential. And I think there is, and the larger the corporation, the more difficult is the pace of adoption. It's just us internally. We are doing things now that 6 months ago were not possible. I was chatting with the head of operation this morning and say, but now you're doing this, what changes? They say, you just know, I open the page, I just ask it, it's doing my no code, I go to the other soft, I ask it to do the QC, and then I go to the other soft and build it, and then we connect everything. We were not able to do that 6 months ago. We are small, we are agile. I think I think we have a difficulty for our customers to adopt our solution because their pace of discussion, their pace of decision is slow. But at the same time, when they realize and they have finished their assessment, the conclusion of the assessment is obsolete. And that, I think, is a risk. It's a risk for the
and then you're right on Olivier and Michael of course I'm very positive. There is also the risk and the difficulty over there, which is what I mean, how people are going to transform the way they work with AI. Are they becoming lazy? Are they going to trust AI first before their own knowledge? I mean, we still need to learn maths, physics, philosophy, and the rest, and make sure that all the AI is not changing our mind on that. So there is a big transformation also in the way you criticize the AI and the result over there, which is something that we need to work on, and educational environment, and the fact that I've got a result. Is it the good result? I think this is the right way of mitigating the risk there. There's an education to make there.
I think you'll like, Laurent, that I'm going to do an interview in the next couple of weeks with a TD Engine with Jeff Tao, and he has these dashboards completely automatic. He calls it Snapchat for dashboards. I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah. Sure.
So the last section, because we're coming up on the end, I wanted to ask, when you go into your customers, I usually think of digital maturity or around basically maturity around data on a spectrum from 1 to 5, right? 1 is Excel and email. 5 is a fully adaptive agentic digital twin. Like nobody is at 5, barely anybody's at 3. Almost everybody's somewhere between 1 and 3, right? So when you go in and you put in InUse and you put in SP3D, you must have a feeling for where the customer sits. You must have an idea of the level of their maturity, and then you put in this awesome solution, which is AI powered and it's so different and so new. Is there a ripple effect? Does a customer say, "Oh my God, if I was, more mature, I'd get more out of the solution"? And maybe, does it create sort of a ripple effect or even a tidal wave of change where the customer's like, "Oh my God, yeah, I've got a digital maturity. I've got to have a chief data officer, and I've got to get my stuff together because otherwise I'm not going to be competitive tomorrow." So those are my last question for you. Well, second to last question. I do have a final question.
I think that you're right on the maturity. 1 to 3 is the maturity. At least in the industry that I face, 1 to 3 is the maturity. You've got the two schemas. You've got the one that feel that okay, it has been done like that, and they still have the knowledge, and they don't have that. They don't see in the near future the risk of losing that knowledge. And there's the one that are feeling the retirement wave, and they are in an urgent matter. Do they need to have a chief data officer and so on? I think if we properly present what we are doing, and that's what we do with InUse, I think we can overcome that, because we can deliver the platform, making it very efficient right away and evolutive in the way they're going to evolve. I mean, we don't ask them to be 5 right away just because we're going to give them an agentic solution there. Okay, so the purpose is to bring them to the level of usage internally, and then with the ecosystem, the suppliers and even their customers over there. So I think it's a question of evolution there. And again, it's the good stuff is it's a big bang in terms of LLM, but if you want to deploy that, you can be very much adapted to your audience and your people there, and it's really people oriented. The GenAI is really people oriented for me.
Olivier?
The answer is different depending on the two products.
Of course.
On Couillard, the pain point being, I have a 2D, I need a 3D model. There is no change in the process. There is no need of any maturity.
Okay.
There is sometimes we face, and we are targeting, we are working with a lot of small companies, from 20 employees up to the large corporate. So sometimes there is a fear to lose my job because this is doing what I'm doing. Shit. So it's going to be a gap. It would bridge the gap when people retire, but we do face sometimes the fear. So we see a lot of management, especially in Europe, saying, "Oh shit, this is awesome. This is what I need. Now I need to talk to my team." So there is some management there, which is not related just to our solution, but to most of the tools that we are using, because it's, as mentioned, Laurent, it's changing the way you work. I think if you have an engineering team, you want them to focus on improving the design, improving the process to reduce the cost of production, not doing 2D to 3D, because this is absolutely no value. But it's unlock the rest. But still, it's something I'm doing today. So if it's machine doing on my behalf, then I'm still relevant. So we see that indirectly, and regardless of the size of the organization. So I think there is I think it's more the human acceptance. And I don't believe the future of manufacturing will be just digital. There's going to be human and digital. And I think this interconnection is not ready yet, as mentioned Laurent, because it's changing the way. I love what you said. It's changing the way you learn. You need to criticize. And there is a lot of communication right now saying that experts, seniors, are in fact more adapted to work with AI because you're capable to criticize the results. When a young going out of university see the output and just believe it because you don't have the experience to challenge. And I think companies like InUse capable to bring that know-how will be tremendous in terms of value added to that type of organization.
So my final question before we say goodbye, precisely, we've got this anxiety now. We've got a really AI anxiety in the workforce because we're seeing all these people being laid off. So how do you guys see that happening? Do you guys see that AI is actually an opportunity because we can give the mundane, boring stuff to the AI and let engineers actually do engineering rather than plumbing? Or is there a real fear that we are kind of getting towards the age of post-scarcity, right? Because we will get to the point of AI, AGI and everything, and it'll be the post-scarcity universe of Ian Banks. How do you guys feel that we're going to see, and from a personal point of view for the engineer, is it a good thing or is it sort of a scary thing, or maybe it's just a bump in the road? And because in the Industrial Revolution we still have engineers even though we had machines, right? We just had less horses, is all.
I don't think it's a bump in the road. I think it's a paradigm shift. I think the fear of every time you had a new technology coming, fear of the new technology has been the same. It was 50 years ago, was 100 years ago, was probably the same few centuries ago. I think the question is the pace of the revolution. We had internet 20 years ago. It was already a life-changing evolution. And now we are 20 years later and we have AI, and then we have AI, the GenAI. I think the challenge is more in the pace of this evolution, because my father and then my grandfather were doing a job I'm not doing today, but we had 2 generations to adapt. That's possible. My kids are 7 and 4. My kids will probably change 5, 10, 20 times jobs during their career. So I think it's how to prepare them, and how do we prepare our organization for that? Is TEIA great? Yeah, TEIA replaces time of engineering. Is it scary? For people that are looking at that, could be scary. Like mentioned, for the companies that 30% of the engineer are retiring next year, and you can't replace them, it's an opportunity. The thing is that this will happen for engineering, and this will happen for automation. It will happen for robotization, and it's all these changes one after the other at a very fast pace. I believe that is a challenge, and it's get to go.
I think there's a social challenge on that, and there will be the one that will take benefit because they will understand and see how they reorganize fast to use the AI, and the one that will be slow or not accessible to that. And if you look at the size of the planet, you will have some that are going to accelerate and some that are going to be slow, and that will create distance between those populations. I think this is the highest risk of the AI. It's not an individual risk at the level of one employee or something like that. It's the level of the people who are going to access the AI and the company that will give access to grow up, and the one that will be slow on that. And that's the reason why I'm also pushing Europe with Mistral and so on, because we need to have the technology, and you talk about sovereign approach over there. I think the one who will get that and the one who will understand how to organize. Yes, there will be some population, not only in the industry, in the engineer field, but in the, as I said, in the doctor, there will be some help. The one that will benefit from that, cool. They will probably get a huge advance, and the one that will miss that, and there will be some region of the world or some population that will not have yet, and that will create a highest disruption, and that will be the highest risk for the social part of the world. And I think this is the main approach that AI is so much accelerating. We talk about speed, we talk about all that it brings. Yes, to learn how to use it is the biggest way. Then there will be that, and then it's another way to fight, because then the people who don't have access, who fully access, they will probably use the AI to slow down by putting some wrong thing inside, and there will be a new environment. So this is the highest risk there for social point of view, and it's not a question of laying down people and firing people on that. It's temporary. I mean, they will find they can become technicians. There's a lot of job to do there. but I'm not thinking this is the highest risk. The highest risk is it's going to reconfigure the social approach of the world, and that will create new tension.
Well, thank you for that. That's a
Sorry
bit
about
disquieting.
Yeah. Sorry to finish on that, but that's
It's
if
true.
you
It's
ask for the risk,
there's some uncertainty.
And it's
so much a transformation. It's so much transformation, high transformation, that
It's
it
such a
has an
short
impact
period
on
of
that.
time, right?
Yeah, and that's why we need to fight. Every country, every need to fight for AI, and I do believe that they need to fight for AI, and look at the last round of Mistral and so on. It's important to
ASML saving
fight
the
for
day.
that.
How about Singapore? I mean, I know we're almost out of time, but Singapore, do you see them really fighting for? Because I mean, they're essentially not in either camp, west or east. They're sort of in their own camp. So, what are they doing in Singapore to keep up?
Yeah, I think they are doing two or three things that are pretty smart. First, they're trying to remain friends with both the US and China, which are the two
Of course.
ecosystem, and they are capable to navigate between the two systems, which I think is quite rare. And Singapore being small, they have no resources, so their only value is the IP and the knowledge. So they are
and all the networking cables that are pulled through Singapore to get from one side of the world to the other.
They build that. They build a financial center, they build an ecosystem, the logistics. They have their historical geopolitics on the Malacca Strait, but they know that their value comes from the people that are working there. So they invest a lot in education. So these type of topic are tackled from school.
Okay.
And from primary school, they expose kids. So they don't put them fully digital, but they expose them to the innovation. So and I think it's key. The next generation, as mentioned, it will be how do you adapt and how do you keep evolving with the technology. And I think it starts at school.
I'm not sure we're at that point in France yet. Well, that's awesome. I had a really great time talking to you guys. That was super interesting. I think I learned a lot, and your company sounds so exciting. It's awesome to see you guys succeeding and to get to know you better. Thank you very much for taking your time to tell us about AI and your two companies. I hope you guys had a good time too.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Yes.
Great.
Okay. Well, we'll see you on the.
Great to meet you, and it was great to discover a bit more about the company. It's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you on the next podcast. I think the next one's actually Thursday, where we're going to talk about whether PLM should be dead or not. So, good Halloween topic, right? Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good. Thanks a lot.